Okay, let's be real for a second. We all have that folder, right? Maybe even a whole hard drive packed with PDFs that we know we should probably read. But honestly, who has the time to wade through all that jargon?
Yeah, it's like our brains just aren't built for that kind of information overload, especially not when it's trapped in a dense drive format like PDFs. But what if, and this is where it gets interesting, what if those PDFs could be, well, a little more engaging?
Now you're talking. That actually segues perfectly into what we're diving into today. We're taking a look at how EON Reality, a major force in VR and AR training, is using AI to shake things up in the world of learning.
And they've teamed up with NVIDIA on this, which is huge news in itself. We're not just talking about skimming through PDFs, we're talking about transforming them, like actually turning those PDFs into podcasts that you actually want to listen to.
Okay, now I'm really listening. Color me intrigued.
Yeah.
So how does this PDF to podcast magic actually work?
Well, NVIDIA has developed something called the, get this, PDF to podcast AI blueprint. And the way it works is it essentially takes that PDF and converts it. It converts it into structured markdown, kind of like creating a really well-organized outline from all that information.
Ah, okay, so it's not just like, reading the PDF out loud.
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't be very engaging. We've all heard those robotic voices.
Oh, absolutely not. This is where the AI, the real brains of the operation, comes in. We're talking about large language models, LLMs.
LLMs, okay, I'm following.
These LLMs, they're trained on like mountains of data, and they can take all that structured text from the markdown and they transform it. They can create a natural sounding monologue or even, get this, a dialogue.
Wait, so it could sound like us having this conversation right now?
Exactly. And to top it off, it uses text-to-speech, TTS, to generate really high-quality audio. So what you end up with is a podcast that's not just informative, but it's actually enjoyable to listen to, engaging even.
Now that's a game changer. I noticed that the source material we're looking at mentions something about flexible customization. What exactly does that mean?
So imagine you're a company and you want to use this for, let's say, employee training. You can actually brand the podcast, add your company's intro music, your key messaging, that kind of thing. You can even have it translated into different languages. Think about your global teams. It's pretty incredible.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is a killer app for any multinational company out there. Anything else?
It can even have a digital human interface. I mean, picture this. You're listening to this podcast and you're seeing a virtual person right there on your screen delivering the information. It adds a whole new level of engagement to the experience.
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Okay, but, and this is a big but, what about sensitive information? Companies wouldn't want their confidential data out there for anyone to access, would they?
You're right. That's a valid concern. And it's something that's been addressed. The blueprint has built-in data privacy compliance features, which basically means that all that confidential information is protected.
Okay, so now I'm really starting to see the potential here. We've got these PDFs, often these really dry documents, transformed into these engaging podcasts, but EON Reality, they're not stopping there, right?
You got it.
Yeah.
EON Reality takes those podcasts, and they don't just leave them hanging, they integrate them into their multi-avatar platform. And this is where things get really, really interesting.
Oh, so we're talking more than just passively listening. What exactly happens on this platform?
All right, so let's say you've just listened to a podcast, right? Maybe it's about customer service techniques. The next step takes you right into a 3D simulation, a virtual world, where you're suddenly face-to-face with a difficult customer. It's like you're thrown right into the action, and you have to apply what you just learned in real time.
Whoa. Talk about learning by doing. It's next level.
It is, and what makes it even more powerful is EON Reality's spatial AI. It's in there, in the simulation, and it's providing you with real-time feedback on your performance. It's like having a personal coach, but virtual, right there guiding you through it.
It's like bridging the gap between knowing something and actually being able to do it. That's brilliant. And it seems like this would be incredibly valuable for those soft skills, the ones that are so hard to teach in a traditional classroom setting.
You're spot on. And the sources we looked at highlight a few specific examples, like corporate compliance training, something that's usually pretty dry and boring, could become a much more engaging and effective experience.
I can see how that would be huge for companies. Were there other examples mentioned?
Oh, yeah, tons. Technical teams could use it to practice presenting complex information, but to virtual colleagues. Customer service reps could hone their skills in these really realistic but risk-free scenarios. They even mentioned healthcare professionals practicing, like, emergency procedures in a safe virtual environment. It's pretty remarkable.
It sounds like we're talking about a revolution in learning.
Mm.
And the possibilities, they just seem endless.
It's pretty mind-blowing, right? And what's really fascinating is that this technology is addressing a very real need, this growing need for flexible, on-demand learning. It's not just a cool gadget, it's meeting a real demand.
And so it's not just about the tech itself, it's about how it fits into this changing landscape of education and training. It's like a perfect storm.
You said it. This technology has the potential to adapt to all sorts of learning styles, individual needs. It could make education much more accessible and effective for everyone.
That's a powerful idea. And the role that AI plays in all of this is, well, it's pretty mind-blowing.
It really is. We're basically harnessing the power of AI to personalize and you could even say amplify human potential.
It's been a really eye-opening deep dive so far. But before we get too carried away with all the excitement, are there any potential downsides to this technology? Anything we should be cautious about as we move forward?
Yeah, it's definitely worth considering the potential challenges too, right? Like one of the big ones that comes to mind is if AI is taking over a lot of those training tasks, what happens to the human element? The actual trainers and instructional designers, are their jobs at risk? Is this, the robots are coming for us scenario?
It's the question everyone seems to be asking these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's definitely something to think about as all this technology evolves.
My take on it is that instead of completely replacing jobs, it's more likely that AI is going to change them, shift the focus, if you will. Think of it more like a collaboration, where AI takes on those more repetitive tasks, the things that can be automated, like maybe creating those initial training modules, things like that.
So instead of fearing AI, maybe we should be focusing on how to work alongside it, using it to our advantage.
Exactly. And this could actually free up those here trainers to focus on the things AI isn't so good at least not yet. Things like mentorship, providing that really personalized feedback, dealing with those complex learning needs that require a human touch. It's about leveraging the strengths of both AI and human intelligence, playing to everyone's strengths.
It makes a lot of sense when you put it that way. We talked about data privacy earlier, but are there other concerns that we should be thinking about when it comes to, using AI in learning? Are there any other red flags?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is the digital divide. Not everyone has equal access to technology or even reliable high-speed internet, the kind you'd need for this type of immersive learning.
You're right. That's a huge issue that we can't just sweep under the rug. We need to be very conscious of that because if we're not careful, all these advancements could actually make things worse. They could widen that gap between those who have access and those who don't. It's like the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, but with technology.
Absolutely. Accessibility and affordability, those have to be top priorities when we're talking about implementing these kinds of solutions. We want everyone to benefit, right? It shouldn't matter where you come from, your background, or your location. Everyone should have a chance.
That's such an important point. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about making sure it's used ethically and fairly in a way that benefits society as a whole, not just a select few.
We need to be thinking about the big picture, right? The broader societal impact. And we need to be proactive. We need to work towards creating a more inclusive and accessible learning environment for everyone, not just those who can afford it.
Okay, so we've got these potential job shifts to think about, data privacy, and that digital divide. What really stands out to me, though, in all of this is this idea of balance. Like finding that sweet spot where we're using technology to enhance learning, but not at the expense of the human element.
Couldn't agree more. These AI-powered tools, they're amazing. There's no doubt about it. But they shouldn't replace human interaction entirely. We need to make sure that learners, real people, still have opportunities for that face-to-face collaboration for real-world experience. You can't learn everything in a simulation.
It's about finding the right blend, the right mix of technology and human connection. That's what's going to create those truly effective learning experiences.
Well said. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. The how, the why, the potential benefits, and some of those challenges that we need to be mindful of. But now let's zoom out for a second. Let's talk about the bigger picture. What does all of this mean for the future of learning? Where are we headed?
Now, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's been such an insightful conversation already. It really feels like we're on the brink of a major transformation in education and training. Like everything's about to change.
And I think we are. The possibilities are, they're pretty much limitless. It's exciting. But as with any powerful tool, we need to approach all these advancements thoughtfully, responsibly. We can't just blindly jump in without considering the consequences.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We have to make sure that AI is used to empower learners, not to, control them or limit them. And those ethical considerations we've been discussing, they can't be forgotten. Things like equitable access, protecting data privacy, they have to be at the forefront of our minds.
you got it. The future of learning, it's not just about technology. It's about people. It's about creating a world where everyone has the opportunity to learn, to grow, and to, reach their full potential. It's about creating a better future for everyone.
And that's a future I'm excited to be a part of. This deep dive has given me so much to think about. I mean, it's clear that AI is ready to revolutionize learning as we know it. Everything's up for grabs.
It is. But the question is, how will we shape this future? The choices we make today, right now, those are the choices that will determine how these technologies are used and ultimately what kind of impact they have on society as a whole. It's a big responsibility.
It is a huge responsibility, but it's also an incredible opportunity. So to all our listeners out there, we want to hear from you. If you could turn any PDF, any document at all, into an engaging podcast and immersive simulation, what would it be and why? Let us know.
Yeah, jump into the conversation, share your ideas on social media, or head over to EON Reality's website to learn more. The future of learning, it's in our hands, and it's going to be an amazing ride.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI-powered learning. We
Yeah.
hope you've enjoyed it. We were just talking about the future of learning and AI's potential to really transform it. It's exciting stuff. But what are some of those possibilities, those really exciting ones that are just on the horizon? What's coming next?
I think, if you can imagine a world where learning is truly personalized and on demand and engaging, it's almost like, picture this, a custom designed education for everyone. It's tailored just for you.
Now that's what I'm talking about. That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
But how do we get there? How do we go from where we are now to that kind of futuristic learning experience?
Well, I think it starts with really pushing the boundaries of what AI can do. We're already seeing these amazing advancements, right? Natural language processing, speech synthesis that's getting better all the time, virtual reality that's becoming more and more immersive. It's all happening so fast.
So it's like as those technologies keep evolving, the learning experiences that we can create, those are going to become even more sophisticated, more immersive.
Exactly. It's like, picture this, AI tutors. AI tutors that can actually adapt to your unique learning style and give you personalized feedback in real time. It's like having a personal coach, but it's AI. No more one-size-fits-all teaching. It's all tailored to you.
Oh man, that would be a game changer, especially for subjects that people, traditionally struggle with. Everyone could learn at their own pace in a way that actually makes sense to them. That's huge.
It is. And think about global collaboration. Imagine learners from all over the world, right? They could be working together in these virtual environments on projects, sharing ideas, learning from each other's perspectives. The possibilities are mind-blowing.
It's like we could break down all those barriers, distance, language, those things wouldn't matter anymore. What an amazing way to foster cross-cultural understanding, too.
Right. And another area that's really exciting is adaptive learning platforms. These platforms use AI to track your progress. They pinpoint your strengths, your weaknesses, and then, get this, they actually tailor the content. They tailor it specifically to you. It's incredible.
It's like your learning journey is constantly evolving right alongside you.
You got it. And as we get more and more data on how people learn effectively, these platforms are only going to get smarter, even more personalized. It's a really exciting time to be in this field.
It's fascinating. It's like AI is not only changing how we deliver learning, but it's also changing how we understand it. It's like we're learning about learning.
It really is. We're uncovering those secrets of how our brains learn best. And that knowledge is powerful. It allows us to create even more effective, more engaging learning experiences. We're getting better and better at it.
I love it. It feels like we're entering this golden age of learning. The future is bright. But as with any powerful tool, we have to make sure we use it wisely, responsibly.
Couldn't agree more. AI should be used to empower learners, not to control them. And those ethical considerations we talked about earlier, things like making sure access is equitable, protecting data privacy, those are critical.
Those are essential. It's not just about the technology. It's about how we use it. It's about creating a world where learning is inclusive, it's effective, and it's available to everyone.
You said it perfectly. That's a great point to end on. The future of learning, it's full of possibilities. And it's up to all of us to make sure those possibilities benefit humanity.
Absolutely. Well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive, and I have to say it's been an incredible journey. We've explored some really mind-blowing ideas, and we hope this has sparked your curiosity. Thanks for joining us.